Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you noticed a younger lady smile at an older man and wondered what was going on there? Is it warm approval, respect, or is it anything else completely? Many men believe it's simply politeness. Other people, possibly more skeptical, believe it's meaningless. Just another emotional nicety, nothing to be concerned about. But what if I told you that a smile is full of meaning, a meaning many older men never totally understand? You see, today's society has left men adrift, uncertain of their own worth. And yet, no matter all the noise, no matter the constantly evolving cultural landscape, there is something timeless, something essential about the way people, and particularly ladies, react to strength, knowledge, and presence. A young lady's smile at an older guy is not only about attractiveness, it's not only about wealth, status, or power. It's about something more profound, a realization of stability, wisdom, and a solid foundation. If an older guy receives a smile from a younger lady, his initial inclination might be to ignore it as mere niceness, a meaningless action, or perhaps a social formality. But in reality, such a smile usually conveys a considerably deeper meaning than many men believe. It's a subtle yet strong gesture of recognition of something basic, something profoundly rooted in human nature. Ladies, particularly younger ladies, are naturally attracted to traits that signify stability and expertise. They are created, whether consciously or unconsciously, to identify strength, not only physical strength but also mental, psychological, and cognitive strength. When they come across an older gentleman who emanates an aura of stability, confidence, and self-control, it provokes an automatic response. The response usually emerges as a smile, a moment of recognition that says, "I see something precious here." This recognition isn't always about romantic desire, but it can be in certain circumstances. More frequently, it's an admiration for the presence of a guy who has been through life's difficulties and remains standing. A guy who conducts himself with dignity and calm confidence is unusual in today's society, when many individuals, young and old alike, dwell in uncertainties and self-doubt. Younger ladies, who are still navigating their own journeys, can tell when someone went through the challenging path before them and came out stronger. The smile, therefore, is a representation of something ancient. Throughout the past, experience and knowledge have always commanded respect. In past societies, seniors were highly sought after for their expertise, their capacity to give guidance, and their steady presence in moments of uncertainty. Even in today's world, despite developments in society that reduce the value of older generations, that fundamental inclination remains. If a younger lady smiles at an older guy, she might not even fully understand why she does that. It's an unintentional recognition of something she finds soothing, even admirable. Surprisingly, most older men fail to understand this. They have been brainwashed to believe that aging renders them invisible, and that their value reduces with aging. But that is not the way human nature works. Strength, resilience, and intelligence do not go overlooked. That smile is not empty. It's an indication that stability, self-mastery, and knowledge still retain weight in the wider society. And for the man who understands this, it acts as a subtle validation that he still has something valuable to offer. The modern world has done everything in its capacity to persuade older men that they are no longer relevant. The rapid development of youth-centered culture, ongoing technological advances, and evolving social dynamics have all reinforced the belief that once a man hits a particular age, his value disappears. He is informed, gently or overtly, that his time has passed, that his wisdom is old-fashioned, and that he must step aside for the new generation. This message is strengthened through media, work environments, and sometimes within social interactions, causing most older men to feel ignored and unappreciated. However, this story isn't grounded in reality. It is the fiction of a society that usually prioritizes novelty over substance. The reality is that aging does not decrease a man's value. Instead, it improves it, provided he is using his years wisely. Knowledge, discipline, and emotional maturity are qualities that cannot be replicated in a hurry, and they remain just as important now as they ever were. The problem is that most men buy into the fabricated notion that they are no longer needed, causing them to withdraw from life, become passive, and, in many instances, lose the very traits that once made them resilient. Younger ladies, despite growing up in a world that often undermines conventional masculinity, still have an intuitive knowledge of what is significant in a man. They are attracted to strength, not only physical dominance, but the form of strength that originates from overcoming hardship, developing knowledge, and preserving mental control. A man who has made himself into someone capable, someone with insight and knowledge, does not go hidden, regardless of whether society convinces him otherwise. The issue comes when older men accept a falsehood that they have become irrelevant. When they start to see themselves through a distorted perspective of modern society, they lose self-assurance. They stop carrying themselves with intent, and they start disappearing into the background. This is not the normal order of things. This is the outcome of a system that has underestimated the value of knowledge and leadership. The truth is that older men still have an important task to play. The world needs them, even though it refuses to mention them directly. And when a younger lady smiles at an older guy, it usually happens because she, even in a small way, sees someone of permanent value. The question is whether the man himself sees it. Ladies, particularly younger ladies, tend to be attracted to stability, knowledge, and strength in a man. This is not a modern phenomenon. It is a deeply rooted feature of human nature that has existed for thousands of years. While society continually changes its values and narratives, fundamental human inclinations remain mostly intact. Women are not only looking for surface-level traits like wealth or status, they are looking for something much more important: security, orientation, and the presence of a guy who is actually in control of himself and his life. In a society that usually feels chaotic and insecure, younger women instinctively understand the value of a guy who stays calm, disciplined, and generous. There is an incredible difference between a man who has built himself over the years and one who is still figuring himself out. The younger gentleman may have energy, determination, and potential, but the older man, if he has developed himself effectively, possesses something rarer: knowledge garnered through experience. That knowledge turns into security, and stability is one of the most attractive traits a man can hold. This appeal to stability is not always about financial security, even though that can be an aspect. It is about mental and psychological tranquility, the kind that can't be replicated or imitated. A stable man who does not crumble under strain and who conducts himself with calm confidence becomes a person whom other people, particularly younger women, naturally gravitate toward. He doesn't have to prove himself with bravado or external approval because his presence communicates assurance and competence. What many individuals fail to comprehend is that in today's society, genuine masculinity, founded in strength, knowledge, and accountability, is getting increasingly rare. Most younger men battle with identity and intent, sometimes lost in distractions and anxieties. Conversely, an older guy who has gotten through life's storms and has acquired emotional control and self-discipline stands out. He symbolizes something solid enough, something stable, something profoundly needed in an age of uncertainty. Whenever a younger lady smiles at an older man, it is generally an unconscious acknowledgement of these attributes. It is not always about desire in a romantic way, but instead a natural reaction to a presence that feels reassuring. Women appreciate and admire guys who have made themselves into something strong. The problem is that most older men don't see this in themselves, ignorant that the traits they have nurtured over the years are still greatly appreciated, whether society publicly admits it or not. One of the terrible mistakes an older man can make is allowing himself to get resentful or defeated. Life certainly involves struggles, failures, frustrations, and losses, but how a man reacts to these obstacles defines the kind of presence he maintains as he grows older. Some men use hardship as a means of development, becoming more intelligent, stronger, and more resilient. Other individuals allow it to shatter them, withdrawing inward, getting outraged, and feeling that their best years are behind them. This variation is important because ladies, especially younger ladies, can feel the difference instantly. Nothing is appealing about a guy who has given up on life. A guy who conducts himself with an attitude of defeat and who regards himself as a remnant of the past does not inspire respect or devotion. He may once have been determined, optimistic, and full of mission, but if he now goes through the world with the burden of his regrets on his shoulders, he becomes invisible. Not due to his age, but due to his vitality, due to the way he perceives himself. The way a guy perceives his own value often determines how the world will perceive him. On the contrary, a guy who refuses to be devastated by life's problems attracts attention. He may have scars, both visible and figurative, but they are evidence that he has persevered. He has experienced loss, yet still keeps going forward. He has encountered defeat, but still lifts his head high. He does not let resentment control his actions. Rather, he stays active in life, learning, growing, and contributing. This kind of man has an aura of calm assurance that is difficult to ignore. Women detect this energy instantly. A younger woman may not completely comprehend why she appreciates one older guy and ignores another, but the difference is clear. A man who has maintained his energy, his interest, and his spirit of purpose will always be recognized as someone of importance. It is not about pretending to be youthful or chasing youth. It is about preserving a spirit that refuses to crumble. The real calamity is that a lot of seniors give in too soon. They embrace the societal fiction that they have nothing more to contribute. Still, the reality is that the most powerful thing a man can do as he grows older is to remain involved, to keep developing himself, and to refuse to be characterized by his past. Strength, flexibility, and knowledge do not diminish with age. They develop, and the world, whether it knows it or not, still honors that. When a younger lady smiles at an older guy, it is not a spontaneous or unimportant gesture. It is a manifestation of something deeper, something natural that she perceives in him. That smile can be an unconscious recognition of the traits he carries, his presence, his self-assurance, his stability. Yet many older men fail to recognize this for what it truly is. They either disregard it as politeness or feel it is unimportant, missing essential facts about human nature.